Hi everyone, I'm back with another word from Father. So he has been having me write down all of my memories, and he's having me do my own memoir. And when he downloaded that to me about writing my own memoir, I was like, "Who's gonna want to know my story?" And he goes, "Just write it." And in the process of writing this book, I'm remembering a lot of things that I had forgotten, things that over the years have shaped me. They've given me these false ideas of who I am. They've cut away at my personality, at my true self. And Father's having me do this memoir twofold. It will serve as information for his children on the road that you have traveled. And you will see a lot of parallels among our lives. Because even though each one of us walks our individual path, the hardships are there. And that's why those of us who are true children of God have a sisterhood, a brotherhood of the trials and the tribulations that we've gone through, and we understand each other in a level that the world doesn't, because they haven't gone through the things that we've gone through. And he brings up tids and bits throughout the day of the areas that he wants me to focus on writing. Memories that I had pushed away so long ago that I remember them sporadically, but now that I'm actually putting them down on paper, it's a different it's a different thing. And today the focus was on my grade school years and what I did in grade school, how I felt, how I was being led, not just by God, but by the people around me, the people that he had surrounded me with, the love that I was given, not from my family, not from the people that are supposed to care about you, but by strangers, people that had no idea what I was going through at home. And he brought back a memory that it made me cry. I was sitting down at a coffee shop, and I was writing down the words and for a different part of my life, and all of a sudden he dropped "Remember the Bat," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember the bat." So it was a game that my brother Sergio and I were playing. We got a bat and we got a ball. My dad gave it to us. I don't remember when, or it was a gift. I don't remember if he brought it home from California. I think my uncle was the one that gave it to us. My uncle Chalio, he gave it to us, and so my dad was bringing it home for us to play with. And so we went outside and excited to, hit the ball. It was Sergio's turn to pitch, and then my turn to bat. And my sister Grace was in the yard, and she was being obnoxious like always. And she came behind me, and she was too close. And I told her, "Scoot back, because I'm about to swing the bat and you're going to get hit." She scooted back about a step, and I looked back and I told her, "That's not enough. You need to scoot back farther." And I told Sergio, "Wait, because I'm trying to get her to move." And I don't mind using their names because they're going to hear these stories. I'm sure that if they read the book, they'll see themselves in it. And so I turned around again and I told her, "You need to move back. You need to move back." And she didn't. So she got hit with the bat. when Sergio pitched. And she ran inside. She had blood all over the place. I broke her tooth. She was inside cuddling with my dad, looking all smug. And my dad looked at me and said, "You're going to have to get punished because this is too far." And I said, "Okay." I didn't look at him. I just looked at my feet. And my dad says, when I was a kid, the way I would get punished is they would have me stripped down to my skivvies, his underwear, and they would put rice down on the floor, and I would have to kneel on it. And then they would make me hold 2 bricks, one in each hand. Because I'm not going to make you kneel on rice, but you are going to kneel, and you are going to hold the bricks. And he had me kneel. He brought in 2 bricks, put one on the other hand, and they were heavy. And he said, "You can't lean, you can't squat, you can't sit on your legs." In other words, you have to stand on your knees, holding these bricks out, and you had to have them straight out. I was left there for 20 minutes, and it was excruciating having to hold those 2 bricks up. My mother broke in and said, "Let me finish her punishment, and that way she can move on." My dad said, "That's fine, get her out of my sight. I don't want to see her." So my mom pushed me into the bathroom, closed the door. She didn't bother to have me stripped down to anything. She shoved me into the shower, and she turned on the cold water. And she wrapped her hands in my hair, which I have long hair. I always have had long hair. And she put me in my face towards the water. And she was holding it there where I couldn't breathe. I was choking on the water. And she told me that she had to make it look good for my dad, so that my dad wouldn't keep punishing me. And as she was holding my face in the water, she gets close up to my ear, and I can't breathe because the water's right in my nose and in my face, in my mouth. And I'm a little kid, so it doesn't take much to cover this area. And the water's just coming and coming, and I couldn't breathe. And I remember thinking, "God, just let me come with you. Just let me die." And she gets up to my ear, and she says to me, "We'd all be better off if you just died." It broke my heart to hear her say those words. But I already knew she hated me, so it didn't matter. The only one I cared about was God. And in my head, I kept praying. But I didn't die. And that day ended. She left and she said, "Clean up. Don't let your father see you crying." So I stayed in the shower for, I don't know, what seemed like forever. I had no clothes, so it's not like I could change. Then my sister walks in with clothes. And she looks at me and she says, "I'm sorry. I told them not to punish you. He doesn't know the way she treats you when he's not here." And I looked at my sister for the first time. And I said, "You know how she treats me?" And she said, "Yes, I've watched her. The way she hits you. The way she beats you." She goes, "I don't know why you haven't run away yet." And at that point, I didn't either. Father wanted me to share that story with someone who is having problems letting go of the hardships that you've gone through. Just know, when you start to think about the people that were around you when you were going through those hardships, when you start to think about the way the strangers treated you, the way that they spoke to you, you start to recognize that that was God's hand trying to give you something to hold on to. Something that, a lifeline of sorts, so that you won't think you're alone. So that you won't accept the ideas that Satan is trying to put in your head of suicide, of ending it all. Because no matter what Satan tries to put you through, no matter what Satan gets away with, or you think he gets away with, the biggest disappointment for the people that hate you is seeing you still being alive. Still being alive. And not just alive, but happy. And it doesn't matter if you don't have any money. It doesn't matter if you live in a trailer. Trust me, this woman, I have lived in a trailer park. I have lived in my adult years, and she has visited me. I have lived in a trailer park. I have lived in the middle of nowhere, in a camper. No food or no refrigerator, no working air conditioning, nothing. Just me, a friend, my dog, and his dog. And no, get your mind out of the gutter. It wasn't that kind of friendship. No, it wasn't friends with benefits. It was just something, he was my assignment. And anyway, he just had me living remotely, and she was jealous of me. She was upset that I was not struggling worse, that I was doing so well in the adversity that I was being put in. Even after all of her witchcraft, even after all of her work to put me down, all of her mind mess with, and all the words that she put in my head growing up, even with all of that, she could not understand why I was still doing good and why I was still happy. I should be miserable. I should be upset. My husband left me. My kids left me. My dog left me. I don't care, because God never left me. God never left me. I remember once when I was a child and we were stuck out in the middle of nowhere because my dad's car broke down and he went to go get help. And she was ridiculing me and telling me how I could still believe in a God who didn't show himself, who kept me living in poverty, who kept me living with her, basically, because my life with her was hell. I mean, you think about hell on earth, this woman was it. She was evil, she was angry, she was bitter, she was envious, and she wanted what others had, and she didn't want to have to work for it. She didn't want to have to be nice about it. She just wanted it given it to her because she felt she was beautiful and deserved everything. And she told me that day, she goes, how could you pray to something that you don't even know exists? How can you believe in something that doesn't even show you that he loves you? And he goes, look at you. You live in poverty. Your clothes are raggedy. You have no money. You have no life. What she didn't know is that God wanted to bless me with an abundance that she would have been thrilled to have. But I prayed. I said, God, don't bless me. Don't give me more than I need, because it's not going to be for me. And I'm not going to get to do with it what you want. She's going to take it. She's going to benefit from it. Not me. Not you. Not even her own children. So God always gave us enough to live, but not enough to be extravagant. Not enough to live in fancy houses, drive fancy cars. Not enough. Never enough. But what he did do, he found ways to make me happy. Whether it was the church giveaway store, because we didn't have any money. So we had to sign up for church giveaways. And I always found surprises. And the women and the men that ran these church thrift stores for the less fortunate would tell me, we're not supposed to take in that stuff. They're not supposed to give them to us. And I was like, well, I found skates. I found, soccer ball. I found this. I found that. She goes, yeah, we don't take that stuff in. We are only supposed to take in shoes, shorts, clothes, not toys and things like that. We don't ask for those donations. And I said, well, they're right here. And she says, no, I understand. That they're there because they're giveaways. But what I'm saying is, I don't know where they came from, because we don't collect those things from donations. And I said, oh, so can I take them? And they would say yes. Everywhere I went was the same thing. I always found something that God would show that he was with me. So don't despair, because God shows you he's with you. You're not alone. Your brothers and sisters can sense your sadness in the spirit. Reach out to us, all of us, because we're always in the spirit. We're always feeling out for each other. We're a community. Even though we are not physically near each other, trust that, because it happens to me, and every every prophet that God has me listen to, when I catch them on the live, we're talking to each other, not just me and the person on the video, but all of us. We're talking to each other. And sometimes we're answering in the spirit, and sometimes we're answering in the physical and, in the chat room. But we can hear and see each other in the spirit. And it's not something you have to learn. You just feel it. When you connect with the people you're supposed to connect with, it's a natural feeling. And then you can start to pick it up more and more and more as you get more acclimated to how it feels when you're around other Christian children of God. You can pick it up, and you can tell the difference when it's somebody who doesn't have that strength of spirit. I met a man early this morning at like 1, 2 in the morning. He preached the Bible. He spoke the words of God, but he did not have the Spirit of God inside of him. All he could do was spit out, regurgitate what was in the Bible. He was lukewarm. He didn't feel the words in his heart. He didn't feel the words in his spirit. So take heart in that. If you feel the words in your spirit, if you feel the heart of God in you, know that he's with you, and that you can feel all of us as well. Even though I can't see you, I can hear you in the spirit agreeing and understanding and saying, wow, I can't believe this. Why? Because the spirit has no timeline. There is no past, future, present. It just is. And when you tap into the spirit, that's when things start to change. So don't give up hope. Live long and prosper. Sorry, I had to throw out I don't know why God just had me throw out the Star Trek. Anyway, God bless you. God bless all of my brothers and sisters. And may He strengthen us and give us the resolve to continue moving forward in His guidance. Don't give up hope. In the name of my Lord Jesus, amen.